Hello, artists! So happy to have you here today. Boom, boom, shake the room. Here we go. We're going to get into another juicy topic, which I'm super excited about. But first, a word from our sponsor, moi, Kelli Folsom. All right, so today I just want to make sure that all of you are aware of a couple of things. You can hop over to artlifewithkelli.com and you can get a free chapter download of my book, 30 Ways to Master Still Life Painting. You can also take an awesome quiz on the website to identify what skill level you are currently at in your art life journey, and that will also give you some results of the things that you need to focus on and work on in order to grow to the next level. So a couple of freebies over there at artlifewithkelli.com for you to take advantage of. So if you're at all interested in that, pop over there. Okay, today we have an awesome question from Adam Butcher, who asks, what is your strategy on how to create value or creating the perception of value? Okay, so you can't really create value or the perception of value, but this is language semantics here. But what you can do is you can demonstrate value, right? So it's really about demonstrating value, the value of your art, the value of yourself, really, because you are your art, you are your brand, in modern times in 2022. So today I have 3 strategies for demonstrating that value. These are pretty much the only 3 things that I concentrate on and that I do myself. And of course, number 1, of course, is really just making sure that you really do believe in the value of yourself and the value of your art to begin with. Okay, so number 1 is really that, knowing but more than that, building your brand, building the uniquity, I guess you could say, of who you are, what your art is all about. So that's something that I know I struggled with, and that I know a lot of artists that I do work with struggle with as well, is even just embracing the idea that, guess what, you're special. You're special, and it's hard to embrace that because some of us just have this humble thing, and we don't want to be separated from everybody else. We don't want to be seen as being arrogant or egoic. I mean, here's the thing, though. Everybody is special, okay? But each and every one of us is special and unique in our own ways. And it's really about filtering through and finding out what is that for you. What is it about your art that's really uniquely you, that's different perhaps than all the other art out there. And it's not to say that you won't have any similarities with any other artist or any other style of art or anything like that. That don't twist my meaning here, right? Like, that's not really what it's about. But what it's about is really honoring who you truly are as an artist and what your art really is about for you and therefore for your customer. So this can come down to the way that you paint, the technique that you paint. Do you work solely from imagination? Do you work solely from life? Do you, like, how do you work? What is your process? What's that like for you? What lights you up about painting? Like, is it all about color for you? Is it all about design for you? Is it all about, connecting to a specific moment in time? What is it all about for you? What really drives you as an artist? What really moves you as an artist? And this is something that, I really walk artists through in the Finding Your Artistic Voice program, because I just think it's so critical, and it wasn't really anything like, I even went to art college and they didn't help us with this stuff, and the artists that really get the most clear on this and also really honor this the most and get the get these things into your marketing, into your messaging, into your About Me page, into your emails. This is really the stuff that your collectors are going to want to know about. And if you're an art teacher too, right? Like, what sets you apart from other art teachers? What makes what you have to offer, special and unique, something that's going to appeal and be different than everybody else out there, right? Like, I know that there's no other Kelli Folsom. It's like, I'm uniquely me, okay? Everybody who knows me knows that. They know that whenever they sign up for the Art Life School program, they are going to get Kelli Folsom. They are going to get something different and I'm not even saying necessarily even better. It's better for my customers because who I am clicks more with them, specifically with the customers that come to me, right? But they know that I'm different. My approach is different than even some of the teachers and mentors that I've had, and even people that I've recommended, as teachers and mentors. They're going to get something different from me, So first, you have to figure out what those things are, from your painting process to everything that I just mentioned. I would go back and take notes, like ask yourself good questions. Ask yourself good questions about your own art, and then do that. But I would also say reach out. Ask people close to you, people who are familiar. Like if you have a partner, a spouse or a partner or a loved one that knows you well, get what they think too about, what drives you as an artist, what you seem to be most interested in your art making, right? So you can also reach out to other artists, maybe your peers that you trust, and that you're close to get their opinion as well. But you really have to dig in deep, ask some good questions about, what is it that is unique about you, your brand, your art, so that you can communicate that clearly to your audience. It's really not a good idea for you to try to form your brand around what people want, because you want whatever it is that you're doing to be totally authentic to you. And this has nothing to do even necessarily with genre, you could love painting dog portraits equally as much as painting a sunflower, but why is that? Where's the connection? Like, why do you love both? So we want to be careful not just we get this advice about, niching down and all this stuff. But I think instead of niching down and kind of boxing ourselves into necessarily one genre or even one media, we want to find the connective threads, what gives us the juice, right? Like what's our wiring made up of? What are the connective threads between those seemingly different genres that we're drawn to, For one person, it's the power of the light and the atmosphere. For another person, it's all about bold color and bold brushstrokes, So you really have to get clear on those top things that show up in your artwork on a regular basis, consistent basis, so that you can communicate that about your brand more clearly to people. Okay, and then of course with that, just, without this, and I don't even think this needs to be said, but I think it does, because I see a lot of people, and myself included, struggle with it, and that is really believing in that specialness, that uniqueness, really believing that who you are as an artist is important and does matter to people. And again, it's not about ego, it's not about being better than anybody else, it's just about honoring your authentic voice, and really believing that it does count, that it is valuable, right? Like, to demonstrate value, we have to believe that we are valuable, and a belief is really just a thought that you repeatedly think. That's what a belief is. So that it kind of goes without saying, but it doesn't, because I see so many artists struggle with this regularly. Maybe they're even having some success, and I know I've struggled with it in my artistic career as well, just not really believing in the value of what I'm doing. So you have to get that straight internally, and when you do, you show up differently, you communicate differently to your customers, to your clients. You communicate about your art in a different way, and just the power of that belief that is felt, behind what you do will be felt by collectors, even without words. Obviously we need words to market ourselves, but I think people can feel like if somebody's really being truly authentic, and really believes in what they're doing, and really believes that what they're doing is valuable and contributing, right, and making a difference. Okay, so I think you get it. You get the point. All right, number 2 is know and serve your customer. I put this as number 2 because you want to know yourself first and understand your own brand and your own voice first. You don't want to be trying to people please, and just be like a little factory that's just like churning out, oh, you want this, you want that, okay, I'm gonna paint like this today for you, and I'm gonna draw like this today for you, but it's not really like it's like you're just completing orders, right, based on what people are commissioning or what people are asking for. I've actually known artists who have done this, and they can make a good living at it. So it's kind of like, well, I don't know what that would be comparable to. But it is basically kind of like they're just taking orders, but they're jumping styles so much. They're just jumping around so much that you don't really know who they really are as an artist. You don't really know what their art is about. Really, what their art is about is that they like to make things, and they're just making whatever people will pay for, or whatever seems to be popular at the moment. And again, there's nothing right or wrong about this, nothing good or bad about this. And I think you can make a certain amount of money doing that. But for me personally, that would just not be super fulfilling. And I also don't quite see the longevity in it in terms of a longer career, or a longer lasting, business for yourself. So the next number 2 thing then is knowing and serving your customer. Once you have clear like who you are first, like you've got that pretty clear for yourself, that will always evolve and always grow and always develop, and you'll go through changes, in your art life and in your career, and that's totally fine. So it's not like, oh, this is who I am, I'm stuck in a box. It's not like that. There's openness there. There's room for development and for growth. But the next thing is to really aim to serve your customer and really get in the shoes of your customer, because people buy for emotional reasons, and you want to know how your work emotionally affects your customer. Why would they want to buy your art, right? And how are there any like holes in what you're doing that you can fill in terms of solving a problem for them or solving a need for them? This can be as simple as like maybe they're not responding to your frame choices, or maybe they would like a few frame choices and you're not currently offering that, right? Like that is a way that you can therefore provide more value. In this case, it's not so much demonstrating value, but it's really providing more value for your customer. So always seeking, and if you're an art teacher, that's what I do as a teacher, coach, and mentors. I'm just always listening. I'm always listening to the artists in my community to see like, where are you guys struggling? Where do you need help? What else can I do for you? How can I make this better? Sometimes they won't be able to tell you what that is, but a lot of times they can. They can also tell you what they don't like or what's not necessarily working for them, so that you can then just provide more, literally provide more value, right? So when we solve more pain points and we literally provide more value, well then in turn it makes our offer more valuable, so we have the uniqueness and specialness of our offer, right? And you could even say like the limitedness, even though I know that's not a word, the limitedness of our offer, right? Like all of my work, it's not like it's being mass produced. These are originals, they're one of a kind. So even like the scarcity of that thing or the limited quantity of that thing can also make it, more valuable to the customer as well. That's another way that you can do that. But the other way, of course, is just really getting an understanding of who your customer is, who your ideal customer is, why they are buying your art, what does your art do for them. This actually kind of works all together. It's not like step 1, step 2, step 3, because when you hear back from your customers, what it is that they're really responding to, and why they invested in your artwork, which is really what they did. They're investing in you as an artist. They're investing in your artwork. Then of course can help boost your self-confidence and your belief in the value. The more people that buy your art, love your art, rave about your art, then it all goes together, right? So all of that starts to make your work more valuable, and change the perception of that value as well, right? To others, both to yourself and to others, right? So it all kind of works in like this loop and this cycle, all feeding one another as well. So the other way, of course, the first way is really the most important. And then the second is really about finding any holes in your current, holes in your value currently. Is there anything about your offer that you're making that you could change that would solve more pain points for your customer? Like I said, that could be as simple as something as like, as framing options. It could be as simple as, they're having a hard time making a decision about buying artwork online. So you make the effort and take the time to get multiple images, to maybe even do like a video, photos at different angles so that they can really get a sense. Maybe you're offering a guarantee that, if they don't like the painting, they can return it, within 30 days or 2 weeks or whatever, things like that you can look for, that would help your customer understand the value more, and you're solving some of their pain points in terms their objections and their pain points in terms of buying, right? It could also be just you yourself talking about the art. People who are buying art usually want to know more about the artist, what inspired them, to create that work of art. It could be working in a series, like I'm working on a limited time series and it's of spring florals, and there's only going to be so many of these paintings, right? So that's another way that you can also, get people, capture their attention and demonstrate value at the same time, And so those are just some of the things that you can do to try to demonstrate and provide more value, to literally provide more value to your customer. So, researching them, talking to them, finding out, what's keeping them from buying the art. What are they afraid of when it comes to buying your art? What might hold them back? And then also speaking to the people who have bought, so that you can understand what helped them, basically pull the trigger on buying your art, and why they're so happy about that now. Like, what service is it bringing to their life, right? So actually reaching out and having conversations with people who maybe are following you online or are on your email list so that you can get a better understanding, of what this is. Okay, good. And then the third thing that feeds right into that, of course, is credibility, building more credibility. I don't think there's any easier way to build credibility than the first thing I talked about, and that is you believing in your credibility first and foremost, right? Like you believing in your art and the value of your art and communicating that clearly in your marketing, right? But there are other ways that you can build credibility, of course, and that is through aligning yourself with other credible sources, whether that could be magazines, that could be galleries, that could be organizations or affiliations. What else? Awards, all of these things can help build credibility. I think these things matter a little bit less to collectors, personally, from my point of view. But I will say that it doesn't hurt. I would say the biggest credibility provider is just social proof from other collectors, or if you're a teacher, an art teacher, like myself, social proof from people who have bought from you, who have taken advantage of your services and have seen the value in them. So reaching out to those people to get reviews, testimonials, whatever you want to call that, really capturing that in the right moment. Sometimes people, after they get their painting, they'll email you and say, "Oh my gosh, I got my painting. It's so beautiful. I love it." So even just taking that, if you want to ask their permission, you can. To put it on your website or to put it in social media posts. So sharing testimonials, sharing things like that builds credibility. It builds social proof, that people have spent money with you and they have loved what they have received, right? That's why so much of the time, and really put yourself in the shoes of a buyer, right? And really think about your own buying experiences and what really helped to win you over, right? First and foremost, it is the offer, right? It is the product or the service. If you're looking for a service, like it's already something that you're drawn to. It's already something that you love, that you like the look of. It really looks like it's going to fit the bill. You might be hooked already just based on the product alone, based on how beautiful the product is alone. Then you read about it. For example, the other day I was looking at handcrafted, leather bags, on Etsy. And first thing I'm looking for is just something that appeals to me visually, a bag that I like the look of, I like the color, I like the engraving, I like the technique, whatever. And then I go look at it further, and the next thing I do is I read the details about it. Okay, here's the price, here's how long it's going to take me to get it, those kind of details. But then I also read about like the craftsman who made this, what it is that even materials that they use, why they love using those materials. It's soft, supple leather, and she creates all the designs herself, So all of this is just building more and more value in my mind. And then I read the, reviews, okay, well, let's just see if this person is going to, if they're a good business person, if they're delivering a quality product, then you go through and you read the reviews, and people are saying, "Oh my God, I love my purse. It's more beautiful than it looked in the photos." That's a big one for, buying online. I know that that's something that all of my customers say to me is, "Oh my gosh, it's so much better than the photograph," So posting reviews like that is really helpful too, because those are some of the hangups, especially with online buying. If you're selling online, that people have is, the color is always somehow off, and that's where you can do things like you can take like little video of your paintings as well, because sometimes things read better in video. even just like a little short zoom in clip rather than just a photograph. Especially if you have a lot of paint quality on there, video can help, high quality video, something short, can help showcase the, the paint quality or the texture and things like that as well. The density of the paint or the layers, so things like that you can do as well to try to, provide more value to your customer to help them, make the decision to buy your work. But I think the first thing I talked about is the most important. Everything kind of stems from there. And the other two just help to kind of feed that flame, right? Feed that fire even more, for sure. So social proof and finding any gaps or any holes in your offering that you could literally provide more value or solve a pain point, for people, will just help boost your sales as well and help you to demonstrate that value more. Okay, thank you so much for your question, Adam. And for everybody else, if you have any other topics or questions that you would like me to discuss or share my insights on, just send an email over to info@artlifewithkelli, KELLI.com, put podcast topic in the subject line, and we're good to go. I'm excited to see any new topics that are coming in this month and to talk with you all about it. Other than that, I will see you next week. So everybody, happy creating, and I hope you have a super abundant, productive, and inspiring week ahead. All right, bye.